Welcome to How Women Write, the podcast for author entrepreneurs to find inspiration and flow. Get easy to implement 20-minute or less writing and business lessons, plus interviews with relatable and inspiring women to help you create a sustainable writing habit that grows your business and leaves a lasting impact. I'm Jacqueline Fish, former communications consultant, 3-time author, and intuitive writing coach. Let's go. If you've ever worried about picking a platform for your writing, or even what to write about or your topic, changing your mind, even publishing a book, and then later evolving your opinion, today's episode is for you. Today I'm sharing why I'm back on Substack after I've gone back and forth twice. I'll take you on that journey. And why changing your mind as a writer is really about trusting the work and putting your writing first. No matter where it lives, you can always change. If you've been hanging out with me for a while, you know that my relationship with blogging and newsletter platforms has been a winding journey. I'm going to bring you fully up to speed where I've been, what I've learned, and why I'm back on Substack again with clarity, intention, and curiosity. I've been having some really good discussions with my writing community about the move, and I wanted to record an episode for you here. Listen, I am always learning and willing to change. Even if I look back to the last 2 books I published, Intuitive Writing and Unfussy Life, there's stuff in there that I've changed on. I've changed my opinion on things. I've changed my views, how I talk about things. If I were to wait and wait, I would never publish a book. This is the thing. When we publish our writing online, yes, it's a little easier to go in and change. But when we publish books, it's a little bit more difficult. And yeah, I've changed a couple things here and there, but for the most part, it's a slice in time. And I trust that what came through at the time was what needed to. Here's what this episode will cover: why I went back and forth between blogging on my website to Substack, back to my website, and now back on Substack. What I would do today if I were starting a blog, and why I'm all in on Substack over any other platform right now. Let me break down a quick timeline first. From 2012 to 2023, I blogged consistently on my own website, building a body of work that evolved with me as a writer and coach. My domains also changed as my business did. My first food blog was under the name Barefoot Essence. Then I moved to jacquelinefish.com, which is now my author site and where I talk about speaking and workshops that I do for groups. And then I created a new blog at theintuitivewritingschool.com, where my group coaching, community, and programs live. Newsletters, when I first started, came from MailChimp. 2023, I stopped writing on my blog and started writing on Substack. I liked its simplicity. It was easy to use, very intuitive if you're new to writing online. Also enjoyed reading on there, ideas, connection. And when I did that, I got rid of MailChimp for newsletters, and I enabled paid subscriptions early on. 2024, about a year later, I gave it a solid 12 months. I've returned to my blog, which, by the way, lives on Squarespace now. And I've been on Squarespace for probably 10 years, wanting more control and ownership and to drive my traffic to my website. And at the time, I tried Squarespace's email system for newsletters. I also gave it a year. I was not impressed. Their email software is just not there. So 2025 until now, when I'm recording this, late January 2026, I'm back on Substack. And my instincts are telling me this is the right place for the writing I'm called to share next. For now, I am not adding paid subscriptions. I have a lot of thoughts on this that I'll share another time. So if you are wondering what I did with all those years of blog content, what I'm doing with my blog today that lives on my website, and does this ruin SEO? That's search engine optimization. I'll get to those answers in a second, but for now, know that part of being a writer and human means changing your mind. I used to feel bad about it. I'm a Libra. I also used to blame the fact that I would change my mind on being a Libra. No, I am not down with that. Whenever something follows, I am this, or I'm identifying as something, and then after that is because, then I know it's an excuse and I know it's something to look at. So I feel totally fine when I need to change my mind. And many times I am decisive. And one time my husband said to me, the best part about having a mind is changing it. So he was right. So if there's one thing you take from this episode, it's this. You do not need to stick to a platform just because you picked it once. And you also don't owe anyone an explanation for evolving as a writer, human, creative. I really love pulling back the curtain and sharing what I'm learning. So that's why I'm telling you this. And I also show my writing community my drafts, work in progress, and even behind the scenes on my Substack. We're doing a workshop in the community on Tuesday, which will be recorded, showing them how to start a Substack from the beginning, what to set up, how to get going, paid stuff, what to do with old blogs. We're covering everything. It is very comprehensive. And I think it's really helpful for other writers to see real time how people are using this. And there's a handful of people in the community who are using Substack. So they're experimenting right alongside with me. If you've been writing for a while, you probably know writing changes you. You grow. So if you're writing, you're growing too. And the way we show up grows too. And there's really freedom in recognizing that your platform is not your purpose, your writing is. The point is to keep putting it out there. Don't let a platform hold you up. Here are 3 things I've learned along the way. Number 1, start where you can start. I love Substack because they make publishing easy. It's free. There's no website to set up, no domain needed, no separate email service, because their blog serves as a newsletter as well. No technical headaches, which is huge when your goal is really to just get writing and get your words out there. It lets you focus on writing first, which takes away so much pressure. Number 2, your writing changes as you do. A website, yes, offers total ownership and control. Substack gives you community and discoverability. They're both important, so depending on why you're writing, it's more about what is serving you best in your season, where you're at in your life and or business. 3, know that it is okay to come back. So when I returned to Substack for the second time, I didn't see it as a step back. I have no regrets about leaving for a year, and it's a reflection of what feels aligned right now. And especially after my Facebook and Instagram accounts were shut down for 2 months in the fall, I've always been focused on keeping an email list because I really love that one-on-one connection and interaction that you can get in email. So if I were starting fresh today, honestly, I would start on Substack. Here's why. No friction to start. You can start writing immediately without a bunch of setup. You can set your Substack up and publish your first article in one day. I also like the built-in readership tools. Substack has audience features, commenting, and visibility that makes connections easier. And it really feels like a home for writers. It's cozy if you make it that way. So I have a whole other episode I'm going to record on the notes feature, which is Substack's social media feature. So Substack puts your words front and center and favors long form content, not SEO or site design. You don't have to worry about any of that. It's beautiful. So these are the main reasons why I'm all in on it today. So starting a Substack, even if you decide to go with it, doesn't mean you're boxed in forever. You can always export your mailing list, link to a separate site, or evolve your content strategy as you grow. Even if you're not sure about what to call your Substack, you can change your Substack publication name. It is so easy, and people don't get a notification that's like, so-and-so changed their Substack publication. They make it very easy for you to stay in flow with that. So if you run a business, there's some questions you might be asking. Question 1, what will you do with all those old blog posts? Republish or replicate them? If you've been blogging on your website for a long time, as I had, since I'd been blogging on there since 2012, a couple things to keep in mind. For SEO reasons, you don't want to replicate your old blogs on Substack. Like, do not copy paste your old blog, put it on Substack. It confuses search engines. Unless you add canonical code, and if you don't know what that is, hire someone. It's also just not a good idea having the same piece of content in two places doesn't double your reach. So keep that in mind. My business websites are home to my offers, coaching, books, and speaking. So for old blogs on my website, I added Substack opt-in forms around my website. There's embed code that you can grab from Substack. I'm going to show people how to do this in the workshop too, that you can embed around your website. This was a tedious change to make throughout my website because I had a lot of blogs that were linking to old MailChimp forms or Squarespace or a Podia email, which I used for a while. It was just a pain to update it. So if you don't have that, good news. So new Substack articles that I write might link to old articles on my website. Totally fine to do that. Blogs that are on my existing website where my services live, I might refresh a few of them each month. And the way I prioritize this is the ones that can be updated and that are getting clicked on from search traffic already. For instance, I have a few articles that have some writing prompts. I have one about surrendered first drafts and another about writing LinkedIn headlines. Those have done really well over the years, so I make tiny tweaks, refresh, and republish them with a new date. So it appears like things are fresh on my blog. Next question, I'm not sure about my business yet. Should I start writing on Substack? If I weren't sure what kind of business I was starting, I would start writing on Substack because you can easily link out to your services if they live elsewhere on a website. And even if you never start a business, you can just keep writing on Substack. Question I get a lot, should I move to Substack? I don't know. I can't tell you what to do. I'm sharing what I'm doing, the reasons behind it, what I see my clients doing and my community members, and you can decide for yourself and you can change your mind later. Totally okay. So many people are worried about choosing the wrong thing. Look, there's no wrong move. You can always change what you do. Another question, what if I have courses and services on another platform? My courses, community, and coaching offer pages all live on my website, and I currently use Squarespace, like I mentioned, to also manage the back end of my writing community and deliver courses. In the past, I used Podia. You can link your courses and services in your article, about section, and feature them on your Substack site pretty easily. Another question, can you send separate emails from a blog post, like when you want to promote something? Yes, you can. But first, know that Substack is different than email marketing. It is not like MailChimp or Podia or the many others. Mad Mimi, there's a bunch. Kajabi. So I appreciate on Substack that the blog is the email. It's doing double duty. You don't need to write a blog and then write an email. You can still write a weekly newsletter on Substack if you want, in addition to a blog. You can create one with edition numbers or seasons, something like that. And I'll occasionally send some kind of a last call sales email when I have a time-sensitive program that's about to start. Those emails don't show up in your list of blogs. This month, I'm actually going to start doing a monthly roundup that will read more like a newsletter than a standalone article. It will live as an article, but because I have this podcast, I'm the co-host of another podcast, Business Book Exchange, and sometimes I promote certain offers, want to share about books I'm reading, products I'm loving. A monthly roundup for me is going to be a great way to do this. Another question, what about SEO on your website? Doesn't a blog help this? Yes, a blog helps SEO. My SEO has consistently grown year after year since I invested in it. Last year, I had a session with a lady named Mariah Magazine. I'll link to her in the notes. Her stuff is gold. She also chatted with me on the podcast a while back. I'll link to her episode as well. So if I were starting from scratch with a business and a Substack, I would write 3 to 6 pillar posts that live on my website and update them once a year. That's it. For several years, I've also been using another tool called Missing Letter. It shares snippets of your content across social platforms on an evergreen schedule that you create. You add pictures and captions. It's really easy. It takes 10 minutes per article, and it just keeps it going on certain social platforms year round. Right now, I only send those to my Facebook business page, X, and my LinkedIn business page, which, by the way, my LinkedIn business page by far gives the worst results. So I might just stop sending stuff there. But the business page exists for other reasons, which is a whole other episode. I do still recommend having a personal LinkedIn profile if that fits your business. So you can get found in search with many other SEO strategies, even if you don't have a blog on your website. Also know that I didn't even think about or invest in SEO for several years into my business. I quickly brought in 6 figures in my business and did not need SEO. So depending on your business, you don't need it out of the gate. My business was and still is supported mainly by relationships. And as a service-based business owner or freelancer, your relationships are probably what land you clients, not SEO. So your writing journey is yours. And if there's one thing I want you to remember, it's this. You don't need to have your platform figured out forever. Hopefully you got that by now. You only need to show up where you are right now and take the next right step forward. I'm using air quotes. Right, WRITE. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. And if you're navigating your own questions about where, how, and even when to publish, I'd love to invite you into my writing community. Inside the community, you get access to my real drafts. Members have the draft of my newest book and ongoing conversation about building a sustainable writer's home without rushing or locking yourself into decisions you can't change. We also write together live at least once or twice a week. I'm also hosting a live Getting Started on Substack workshop on Tuesday, January 27th. It'll be recorded if you miss it, where I'm going to share everything I've learned from moving between platforms, what I would do if I were starting today, how to choose a strategy that actually supports writing, and you'll see behind the scenes of my Substack. We'll walk through everything you need to set yours up and answer some next level questions too, like paid publications, getting paid to write your book, simple, sustainable ways to promote your Substack without turning it into a full-time job, how to use the notes feature to make it a feel-good place to hang out. Notes is their social platform. Some of the small surprises I add every article just for fun. And some of the unexpected ways I keep my Substack fresh each month and how to promote it. We write together, we listen, we don't rush the insight, and you are welcome to join us. The doors are open year-round. There's no urgency, no flashing lights. But when you need a writing community, we're here for you. You can find it at theintuitivewritingschool.com, and I look forward to seeing you there. Although I say seeing you, we're a camera-free community, so we'll be in the space together. We use Zoom for our calls, but cameras are off, so you can truly come as you are. I hope you truly enjoyed this episode of How Women Write, and that you are taking this advice and using it in all the things you are writing for your books and business. I would be over the moon if you share this episode with someone who you think needs it. Thank you so much, and I will talk to you soon.